Yo, what's going on, everyone? So this is going to be my Mythic Tindral Sageswift Brewmaster Monk progression kill video that's commentated. So up on the screen you can see the talents that I took for this. Big things you're going to want for this one, you're going to definitely want to use Celerity with the extra charge of Roll, as well as the Hasty Provoke talent, because as the Brewmaster Monk you're going to be moving things around, and having 3 charges of Roll is going to be really ideal for dealing with mushrooms on this fight. Now, something else to talk about before we get started with the pull here is to decide when you're going to pop your cooldowns is based on whether you need more boss damage or more damage on the roots. So for my group, we needed more boss damage. So with more boss damage, you are going to want to pop your cooldowns on pull, and that's going to be done with an abbreviated ramp that's going to involve pre-potting, rushing Jade Wind, putting down your totem and invoking Nizal, hitting Weapons of Order, and then going straight into Cake Smash, Breath of Fire, putting down your Bone Dust Brew, putting down your Exploding Keg, and then doing your, Exploding Keg rotation of Spinning Crane Kick, Blackout Kick, and then Spinning Crane Kick. Doing this, you might pull threat off of the other tank. That's okay if that happens. It's not a big deal. Generally, this boss doesn't do a whole lot of tank damage when it comes to its melee swings. So we've chosen to have our other tank mostly deal with doing damage to tanking the boss for the most part. And me as the monk taking that Hasty Provoke talent, I'm basically moving the boss anytime that needs moved. So right here you can see I'm using the Hasty Provoke to move the boss over during the first set of beams that come down to be safe. Now, if you don't need more boss damage and you need more root damage, this is the set of roots that you're going to pop your cooldowns on instead. So as soon as you move after the first beam, this is the first set of roots that does not have any Dragon Riders coming down and hitting the roots, so it's one that it's super important to take care of. Now, if you popped them on cooldown, though, as soon as this set of mushrooms is done, you can go ahead and pop your second Exploding Keg here to help people get out, and then you're going to move for the second set of Sunbeams, and then we're going to do our flight across the platform. Now, one of the things I didn't talk about yet are the mushrooms. So as you can see, the difference on Mythic compared to Heroic are the mushrooms, that there are always 2 mushrooms exploding at the same time, 1 green and 1 red. And the way that this works on Mythic is one tank needs to soak a green, and then a red, and then a green, and then a red. The other tank soaks red, green, red, green. Now, the green mushroom is the one that does the most damage. So what I do is on the very first set of mushrooms, right before the green mushroom is going to be soaked, which was my first mushroom to soak, I'll hit Diffuse Magic, and that's gonna really stop all the magic damage that does, and it's also gonna protect me against the next red mushroom that I soak. Now, after the second red mushroom, then I'll go ahead, second mushroom, which happens to be red. On the third mushroom, which is my second green mushroom, I will pop Cell Brew as I go into that one, let that one hit me, and then take the red mushroom and just make sure to expel harm coming out of that second red mushroom, the last mushroom. And that's pretty much how I deal with the first set of mushrooms. The second set of mushrooms, I do the same thing, except for instead of Diffuse Magic, I use Dampen Harm. And so that's how that works. So, as you can see, after we landed from the flight, we went ahead and landed, and we were dealing with the shield. Now, as a tank, you most likely have to take a certain path on the flight. As you can see, I was on the right side. I'm pretty much on the right side each time. That involves getting 3 orbs plus the 1 in the middle at the top. On the second set of flights, it's more orbs, but we'll go over that when it gets there. Once I landed, I did pop my cooldowns when the shield was going, because all my 2-minute cooldowns are up again since we needed boss damage. If I didn't need boss damage, this set of roots that you're about to see here is where we don't have Dragon Riders, and you would need to go ahead and use your cooldowns there instead to help with that damage. The big difference on this second platform is that instead of beams, we are getting those little seeds, and every single person needs to soak 1 seed. Now, you can only actually soak 1 seed. With the current nerfs that are out, there's only 12 seeds, and so you just need 1 person to soak each. As a tank, you should always try to grab 1, and definitely use the ping markers if you need to help people find it. So, again, this is the set if you needed more root damage, where you would pop your cooldowns the second time, if you didn't pop on pool, but I popped mine on pool, so I have them for different sets. Now, as this is coming out, if you have Touch of Death ready, anytime that roots are broken by freedoms and stuff like that, you can use Touch of Death on one of these small trees that come out. I didn't have any here, so I didn't Touch of Death. The second flight is the harder flight. So basically what you need to do is you need to get all the way through, grab the first orb even though it's already being grabbed, and then move to the right. Now, if you hit any of these red orbs, it's going to take away 3 of your vigor, which is really terrible. But you can see this is the second orb I'm grabbing, technically the third because I went through the middle. The fourth goes up, and then you kind of have to get around here. And I've chosen to come down. With the current amount of nerfs, because this is the post-last set of nerfs, we only really need 8 set of orbs. But before the nerfs, we did have to go actually even farther around and grab additional orbs, and it's kind of nasty. The third platform, after I land, I do pop my cooldowns again as I land after grabbing the orbs. And as soon as this sunbeam comes out, there's going to be a set of roots, and then there's going to be the beam. As soon as the beam goes out, you're going to see I'm going to roll over to the left, and I'm going to use my hasty provoke to once again taunt the boss over to this orange marker that we have over here. Basically, what we're doing over here is trying to get the boss away from the beams, and then I'll run towards the center to try to grab one of these roots. Right after one of, or not roots, but the seeds. As soon as the seeds are done, I'm going to set back up for my mushrooms, be ready to defuse on the green. Be careful of the sunbeams in case it goes through. They do hurt, but not as much with diffuse. Soak this. My next one I'm going to use Cell Brew. And then on this last one, there is a Starfall at the same time, so that's one that if you need to, definitely don't be afraid to use like Fort Brew on. But after you deal with that, we're going to have another set of roots that we need to break. We do have Dragon Riders, and then we're going to have seeds. And so once these are broken, you can see we're going to grab seeds, and this is where we pull the boss all the way to the edge. This is a little bit different from the second platform where we just kind of kept them in a straight line, but this is because now we're going to have a set of roots right here followed by beams, and we pull over here so that we can bait a beam here and then move the boss back to where we were in the middle. On the second platform, we just kind of dragged him in a straight line across. And on this one, we do have to kind of like go out a little bit so we can bait that sunbeam. And then once again, I'll hasty provoke the boss back into position so that we can continue to have our dispels in the right spots. Now you can see this is a really bad overlap right there going on. We did lose 3 people right there. But again, just as a tank, just keep doing what you need to do. Make sure you're using your defensives. You absolutely need to soak these mushrooms. The green ones, if you miss a green one when it's your time to soak, it will insta just wipe the raid. If you miss a red one, it does a large amount of damage and puts a dot on everyone in the raid, but it is survivable. I don't recommend missing a red one, but if you need to miss one or one's going to be missed, do not miss a green one. It will wipe you guys. If you miss a red, then it's not a big deal. But it will hurt a lot. So after that, now we do have another set of sunbeams, and we're going to move the boss, and this is where the boss should be about dead. Most people do kill it before the beams, but we needed a little bit more boss damage, and we lost several people. And once we pull it over here, we just kind of ignore all the rest of the mechanics. Don't worry about grabbing feathers to go up, and just kill the boss. Now, I will say one of the things is that when you're first starting this fight as a tank, it is really overwhelming, but really just focus on one mechanic at a time. Focus on getting your mushrooms down. Focus on making sure you have that understanding, and then worry about movement. Once you get the mushrooms down, you get the movement, and then you kind of understand how to find your seed, get back. This boss really isn't that bad to tank at all. It's more about just waiting for the rest of your team to be able to handle the mechanics correctly and get the kill. So if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one.